Football fans, Gooners, this is your host Shutter. I hear a feedback, but that's usually what we do get at the beginning. Doing our usual thing on a Friday, we make this a date, George. Two old codgers. How are you doing, George?
I'm fine and dandy, thanks. How are
Well,
you?
you got rid of the intellectual look, my friend. Yeah, fine and dandy. Good to hear that, George. Can't take it
Good.
for granted.
No.
Not at our age. George, it's good to see you, and it's good to have a couple of people checking in. But of course, we will rebroadcast. We rebroadcast this on our various platforms, Positively Arsenal and Uncensored Arsenal, if we so desire. And this will be streaming all day until tomorrow. Well, apologies for Ehab people. He's gone somewhere. Great beyond. You're Cookie.
Cookie.
You want to take a break for Cookie? George, you want to take a break for Cookie? Cookie is giving a little problem. Yes, I was giving apologies for Ehab, who is traveling and can't make today's appointment. But as usual, George, my colleague and friend, we are here. George.
Yeah.
So this preview of Leicester Arsenal, two teams that are basically same in the league. But before we talk about that, let's talk a bit about the Carabao Cup. I hope that's how I have the pronunciation right. I didn't get to see the game myself. I only went on the .com and saw the highlights. Did that game tell you anything about us in preparation for Leeds? It was a victory for us.
No. The system wasn't the same as we played in that very good display against Villa. We went back to the traditional system, completely, nine changes. It didn't tell us anything. But what it did tell us is we've got a lot of decent players as backups, which we knew. The squad's good.
Yes, George, that struck me. I was thinking to myself, people said that we would have trimmed the squad because we are no longer Europe, we're no longer in Europe. But it struck me that this was still like a squad geared for Europe. I mean, there are so many good backup players: Chambers, Holding, El Neni, Nketiah. There's several good players on the squad, and it was, and even good old Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who only gets to make an appearance now and then on the first 11. It was striking.
Yeah, and some of them played quite well. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I thought, had a good game. Pepe.
Yeah, I heard. I saw your comment on it when your first reaction to the game. I saw you were not very happy.
Neither did Smith Rowe, really. Mm-hmm. But he was back in the number 10 position.
Which you, by the way, George, you're one of the only observers to say that is not his favorite position. And I've seen
it might be his favorite position. I think all players like to play in the middle, don't they? Mm-hmm. I don't think it's his most effective position.
Yeah, I think you want to see him on the left of a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I want to see him in the Perez role, basically. Yes. But whether I get what I want, it's nothing to do with it.
Yes.
But I just don't think he looks as good in the number 10 position. And if he is as good in the number 10 position, why did we buy Odegaard?
Correct. And,
I don't know. But anyway, regardless of that, it was a decent performance, I felt, against Leeds. Leeds were under strength. We were under strength. They played their normal game. We played our normal game. Our normal game seems to be improving a little bit. So we won. I think it was Leeds were on top in the first half, and we were considerably on top in the second half. So on balance, I think it was a merited win. So we're in the next round. Hopefully, we get Sunderland.
You don't get Wenger roll up. Don't get Wenger roll up. Dandy up.
All you can ask is that you win and play somewhat of a decent game. We won and we played decent, so that was good. It kept the ball rolling. Gave Arteta fans another notch on the unbeaten since Manchester City meme that seems to have replaced judge him in May. It's now judge him since the City game. So yeah, everything's good.
Yes, saw that, George. They are now pretty much 8 games unbeaten, and doing the usual Arteta PR. Fair enough. I mean, you can do all of that, but
of course, because short of the reality is those who are set against him, if the results were the other way,
right,
you can be sure that they'd be using that PR. So if you support Arteta, you're perfectly entitled to say, look, 8 games unbeaten. That's correct. Progress. Because be sure those who don't like him would say, look, we haven't won for 3 games.
Exactly.
That's terrible.
Exactly.
It's a two-sided coin. You can't expect people who support him not to look for all the positives when people who are against him look for all the negatives.
Which is by the way, the irony, because when people point out the negatives, these pro-Arteta people go hyper. But listen, we know how this game is played, George. But speaking of improvements, this evidently Arsenal has improved in the league. We were bottom of the league. Now we're 9 games. And tomorrow we'll make 10. 4 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. But we are coming up against a team which has the same record. But they're ahead of us because of goal difference. And this is why I said this is a battle of equals. They had a very poor start. They lost to Brighton, I think. We drew with Brighton. They lost to Crystal Palace. We drew with Crystal Palace. Isn't they lost? But they beat Manchester United 4-2. And they also beat Brentford 2-1 last week, George. And we had our win over Aston Villa. I hope I got all of that information right. So these are 2 teams that are relatively equal. And George, I'm going to add something here for the benefit of the audience. Their market value of the players, I was surprised. Leicester is about the same, but Leicester transfer market valued them at 563 million euros, while they gave Arsenal a value of 548 million euros. Not much, because they use some sort of metric to come up with this. But essentially, they're saying we're 2 equal teams. What are your thoughts on this as we go into this match?
Well, I think that's right. Squad ability-wise, very equal. Now, that immediately should raise a red flag. How the hell have Leicester got a squad equal to Arsenal? Either they're overachieving with the purchases, or we're underachieving with our purchases. Probably a bit of both.
That's very funny.
We've spent more, and we're a bigger club. Why have we not got a more valuable squad than them?
That's a good question, And by the way, George, you have sold in recent years, you've sold some good players and replaced them with others. Ben Chilwell. Was Maguire playing for them at United? He was a big £80 million signing. They have sold and they have purchased. But yes, it's surprising.
They've sold and purchased well.
Yes.
I mean, I tell you what, if you can sell Harry Maguire for £80 million,
yes,
you're on track for being a top-selling club, aren't you?
Did you see how Lasty looked against Liverpool? It wasn't his fault, by the way, but the 2 defenders were always getting in each other's way. And Salah had would always burst between the two of them and get a clean shot at goal. But George, we don't want to discuss Liverpool, but yeah, £80 million for him.
Yeah. Excellent.
Excellent business. Yes, George, but
that's basically like us. If we sold, let's say, Rob Holding for 60 million, that would be the equivalent that we've fleeced someone for that sort of money. Or maybe
not.
Oxley Chamberlain for 35 million. Or Alex Iwobi for 30 million. So we've done some fleecing ourselves in the past, but
the last 2 years we haven't done anything remarkable in terms of sales.
There was a different man at the helm selling them, doing the negotiating then, wasn't there? Anyway, that's gone.
Right, but so the thing is that they've done some decent. And I looked at their squad, George, and it surprised me. Transfer market again. They use a metric, but most people disagree. You know who they had as their best player? Ndidi for 50 million. I would have thought Tielemans, for 60 million euros. Tielemans at 55 million, and the man who was the total of the town last year this time, Madison, he's only at 50 million. So they have a way of reducing your market value based on your performances. But those three are very key players, apart from Vardy and Iheanacho, in my opinion, and match them up against the Saka, Smith Rowe, White, Odegaard, and Partey. You see where I'm going. And both play 4-4-2 essentially. Let's say this. We play 4-4-2.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. This is going to be a very interesting match in terms of an index as to where we are, because Leicester is. Last year they got in the European places. They missed top 4 on the last day. They had a poor run in, like the previous year.
I think it goes further than that as well. The balance, in as much as their weakness is the defense. Our weakness isn't our defense anymore. Our weakness would be our attack. I mean, our XG away from home. In fact, our XG, I think overall, is 19th. Maybe
somebody Scott Willis, I didn't even get to look on his table yesterday. Lemon loves to post it, but it was looking good. It was horrible. Go ahead.
Their XG, I haven't seen that post at all. Their XG is over 3 a game.
Wow. So they're creating chances, George?
They're creating chances. So maybe they haven't converted as many as they should have done, but it'll give us a test, and we'll see how this, people I've seen on Twitter today saying, are we third? It's supposed to be the third best defense.
Yes, I saw some guy boasting. Yes, it was boasting.
Well, we'll see tomorrow, because I think we'll have quite a bit of defending to do. We've got to hope that our attacking players make the difference. But when you look at it, their attacking players are probably just as dangerous as ours. I mean, they've got Vardy, we've got Aubameyang, nothing much between them.
True, right.
Apart from the fact that Vardy probably scores more.
Has he? Well, he scored 10 goals against us. He has scored 11 goals against us. 11. Rooney has scored 12. That's a record. And so he has scored 11 goals against us. But yes, since he's always in the running, apart from last year when he was injured. He was always in the running for the golden boot. Let's put it that way, George.
Their midfield, well, so is Aubameyang, to be fair.
Yes, both. Yes.
Their midfield, Lookman, Maddison, Tielemans. That's much more of a goal threat than our midfield.
Tielemans is on fire, George. He has scored 3 goals and 2 assists.
It's not comparable, their goal threat from midfield compared to ours. I mean, Partey's goal threat. Really? El Neni?
Well, actually, you should be matching up Partey to Ndidi. And Ndidi is, as far as transfer market is concerned, is much more highly rated. 60 million euros.
Better.
He's a more, I would say, George, he's a more complete player.
He's a better player.
Yes. Gunners don't want to hear that, George. Go ahead and tell us why.
Of course they don't. But you look at the stats and you look at the performances. What more do you want to go on? Performances and statistics. That's your two metrics, isn't it?
Yes.
And he's better than Partey on both, to the eye test and the stat test. So, but what my point is, they're a far bigger goal threat, and the front three players are equally as dangerous as ours. So they have a bigger goal threat. You can see that in the XG. You can see that in the number of goals they score compared to the number of goals we score.
Mm-hmm.
But their defense is fragile. So
right.
What's his name?
Soyeon Chu.
He's having a fucking man. I mean, people were saying how they'd replaced Maguire with him last year.
And right. Yeah.
And even Maguire playing bad doesn't look like a downgrade on him. He's having an absolute nightmare. But last season he did seem considerably better. So we've got to hope that he's still having his nightmare rather than he's come out of it.
But Johnny Evans has returned, George. And
if you look at
Johnny Evans has returned. What do you think about that?
Sorry, what?
Johnny Evans has returned, and he was the
he makes it better for them, yeah. You know, he does, much as we might not like to admit it. He's a decent defender. He's good on the ball. He's experienced. He calms them down. He will make a difference. Let's hope not too much of a difference because we want to score. But if you look at, we've scored no goals from open play away from home.
Is that true? You're right, you know.
I think so. I mean, I'm only going from memory. I haven't seen it anywhere. But I think we scored one free kick, Odegaard against Burnley.
Yes. One free kick against 40 crosses. Remember my headline?
I think that's about it. So the likelihood of us scoring a few is not very high. And with their XG being over 3 in every game, and XGs are notoriously difficult to push up. You know, when you look at someone's XG, it's inevitable less than they actually score, even if they've played well. Do you know what I mean? You look at our XG against Tottenham, we scored 3. Our XG was 1.5 or something.
Right.
So XG, if you've got over 3 XG, that means you're creating a lot of decent chances.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would like to.
They're probably going to score with an XG like that, and we've got an XG of next to nothing away from home. So we've got to score probably 2 or 3 to get a result. That's how I see it. So all that said, we'll probably beat them 4-0.
Well, to be honest, George, we have not in recent years, we have not done very well down there. Circulating on
Twitter, 5-2, didn't he?
Yes. Well, the last year, what's circulating on Twitter is the way in which we spanked them in 2018, 3-1. We went down there and beat them 3-1, and that people who are hankering, who want to remind us that we used to play good football one time, have been showing that, especially in light of this game. If you recall, your friend Alexis had a hat trick, I think.
Yeah, Mesut ran.
And Mesut was dictated the game.
That night, didn't he?
Yeah. But it's since of late. What I was gonna say is I remembered they came up by us last year, and Vardy was recovering, and we had started this long ball from
I remember it. He came up for about 5 minutes, didn't he?
And scored 1-0.
Yeah.
But the game that I really took a look at was the last game. I went and looked at it, and that is going to tell us a bit. And we beat them 3-1. So let's give Arteta credit. But the funny thing about it is that they scored and then sat back. And that was done by their place. I don't expect them to do that again, George. I really don't. They are desperate for points. They're desperate for going up. I expect them to be going at it from early. That's my expectation. But as you say, their defense is kind of suspect. I know they are the guy from Portugal who plays left back, and then they have a guy called Castagna. George, if they get their best 11 on the field, we're gonna have problems breaking them down. That's just my view. But what would be your recommended tactic for breaking them down?
Oh, gee, why are you asking me that? I'm an idiot.
You're well, he happens to hear. He happens to hear, so you have to be the tactical guy.
Well, I mean, I would match them up. I would match them up 4-4-2, and rely on our defensive solidity and hope that our front men can nick a goal. That's how I would go about trying to get the best result. I mean, and that flies against everything I want to see in an Arsenal team. Yes. I don't want us to go up there and sit back and up to hit them on the break.
Yes.
But that's what I would do if I was Mikel Arteta, because I can't see us scoring 2 or 3. I can't see us going at them and making it a game of basketball, because I think we'll come out very much second best. But my point, it always goes back to that we have such good players that it's possible that we can beat them. There's no reason we can't beat them.
Agreed, 100%.
But I mean, you have to look at the chances.
Yes.
And they have to be favourite. They have to be favourite because they score more, which means they're more likely to score more. And that's counterbalanced by the fact that they concede more. I think they're 18th or 19th on chances given up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't get that far.
It's quite easy to get at them. And we have the players who can cause damage if we do get them. Aubameyang's on a decent run of form. Lacazette, I think he'll always score given opportunities. So we've got a good chance,
By the way, George,
I don't want to be negative at all. And we are on this bit of a run. Confidence will be high, whether it should be as high as some of our fans are or not. It should be high amongst the team. I mean, it's a while since they lost. So we have a chance. Let's hope it's a good game and let's hope we win. But if I was predicting it, I would say we're going to probably struggle to get anything out of the game.
Well, like I said, it's a battle of equals, and it is going to be it may take a very, very foolish man or a very, very wise man to make a prediction. I don't put myself in the latter category.
Well, the problem with making predictions is this is Twitter and YouTube and whatever. Yes. If you predict the right result, no one will mention a fucking thing.
Oh, yeah.
If you predict the wrong result, you'll get hung, drawn, and quartered, ridiculed and laughed at, kicked and fucking agitated until the next game plays. That's how it works. Make the wrong result and you're in the stocks. But make the right result, nobody will mention a fucking thing.
Well, the thing that gets to me is that on Twitter and YouTube, there'll be people, jumping on the playing on the emotion of fans. Oh, we're going to go to Leicester and beat them. Oh, and without any regard for this kind of things that you and I have spoken about. And that's why I do this show with you, George, because there's so much, it's people just emote and refuse to even consider other options, but they do it for a reason. Many of the people who do this are doing it for a reason. They want to earn clicks, they want to earn supporters, and they're going to leverage that on their channels and so on.
Yeah. But to be fair, we want supporters. We want.
Yes. Oh yes.
We're not some sort of altruistic heroes that are doing it for the benefit of the fans.
Yes.
You want people to listen to what you're saying.
Yes.
It's just more difficult to get them to listen when you're saying things they don't want to hear. And
yes, that's true.
The trick is that you don't water down your opinions in order to get more clicks, or you don't state opinions that you don't actually believe just to get clicks. And that's what a lot of them appear to do. I mean, And
appear.
that's what I think. But I could be wrong. They might all be just wonderful people who understand the game better than me.
Yeah, with no unseemly motives. George, the last thing I wanted to discuss per this game, and that is part of the subtext, is will either manager make the difference? And I mentioned last year that when they beat us 1-0 up at our place, Rogers outsmarted us. he had the David Lewis lobbing balls. He took that chance, lobbing balls in Aubameyang direction and sending two players to corner him and tried to keep the game tight, and then brought Vardy on in the last 15 minutes, scored. And I'm simply making this point, and I'm going to balance that by saying we went down to their place and beat them 3-1. So will the managers make a difference, George, tomorrow? Do you think that this will be a coaching contest, a contest of the managers, or a contest of the players? And you know that that's just an abstract question because it's a contest of the players, but you know what I mean.
Well, I think, as we've said, the squads are so even, teams are so evenly balanced ability-wise, that the difference very well could be the managers. Mm-hmm. But I think basically Rodgers will go for it and Arteta won't. But I've been surprised before. Mikel Arteta has surprised me. I've thought, oh, we're not going to go for it. And all of a sudden they come out all guns blazing and do go for it, like we did against Spurs.
Yes. But then again, that was at home, and he's on the road now.
Yeah, it was at home, and we, like I say, one goal away from home from a free kick to steal a game that we probably should have lost
against Burnley.
Doesn't make for good reading. So yeah, it could make a difference, but I don't think it will, because inevitably you have your plan, and you might plan to sit back and they score in the first 5 minutes and your plan's out the window, or you pinch a goal and all of a sudden you get a rush of blood and everything's flowing, and you were going to sit back, but now you're so confident that you can attack at will, and you beat them quite comfortably. They set a template, but I think templates last about 2 minutes in a game of football.
Yes. Well, I think that perhaps this is again a cliche, George, but the who scores first will make us make a significant difference, and we don't do very well behind.
It'll make a huge difference if it's them. If it's us, I don't think it'll make that much difference, because they'll be coming at us and they'll expect to score more than one goal. So us scoring one goal won't panic them. But if they score the first against us, I think we're in trouble.
George, I want to end at this. So what is your prediction? You're the wise man, and I'm the...
No. You see, you put me on the spot. You're going to do...
Okay. Say what you want.
But I've got to be honest. I've just said that we should be honest. I think we'll lose 2-1 or 3-1. That would be my prediction. If I was going to go down to the bookies now with my last £10 and hope to be able to buy some food at the weekend, I'd be backing. That's the bet I'd be making. Obviously, I hope I'm wrong.
You probably only make.
And if I am wrong, everybody will tell me soon enough.
Oh yeah, they'll say you're loyal enough. George, and for my part, as always I say I don't expect Arsenal to score more than one goal, not away, but Arteta might shock me. So again, I'm just saying to the audience, two close teams. It should be a draw, but I give Leicester the home advantage. It could end up at 2-1. And that's just my thinking. But like I said, Arteta, as you said, brother, Arteta has a way of surprising us. So I anticipate this game. I'm going to watch it, George. This is going to be. I can tell you, this is going to be a real battle.
Can I just say as well?
Yes.
there's a difference here now.
Mm-hmm.
You can look forward to watching it.
Yes.
Of late, we've not been looking forward to fucking anything. But
Correct.
you can now look forward because there's a chance we'll play well. There's a chance we'll win. Things are going in the right direction. We've got hope back, some more than others, but we've all got more hope than we had 5 or 6 weeks ago. That's for sure. Even those of us that really don't like Arteta,
yes,
we must have more hope than we had 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Exactly.
You must be moving towards the position where you think, yeah, well, maybe he's not that bad. You know, at the very least, you have to have a little bit of hope. And we have seen some good football. First half against Spurs, first half against Villa. I know it's only 2 halves of football in 9 whole games, but at least it's more than you would have expected 4 or 5 weeks ago. So it's all on the up, and we can look forward to watching the game of football. And that's half the battle, isn't it?
It is, and like I said, I am looking forward to the anticipation with great anticipation. This is going to be a real contest, in my opinion, and it will tell us a lot about ourselves. And the surprising thing, George, is that we win this game. If I understand, we'll be like among the top 5 or top 6. It's because it's very close. How many? We have 14 points, I think. Is that correct? And you know, there's no big gap. I think United is a point ahead of us. Is that it? I think.
No, goal difference. It's only goal difference with United.
Oh, you see what I mean?
Level on points with them.
Yeah,
but we have had a very easy run, haven't we?
Really,
since the very difficult run, we've had a very easy run
with mid-table teams.
Some mid-table teams. But fortunately, we seem to keep catching teams in a slump.
Yes.
Villa were in a bit of a slump, you know, but Leicester aren't in a slump.
They're on the rise. They're on the rise.
They're coming out. They had a bad patch and they're coming good. So it'll be a test. And if we can come through it, then that's more hope. If we come through this and beat Leicester away at Leicester with a good performance, you really have to start thinking we can finish top half.
Exactly, George. Let's leave it on that optimistic note. We're looking forward to tomorrow morning's game. First one up. I think it's 12:30 your time, 7:30 my time. Fans, remember to like and subscribe. George and I have an opinion we want you to hope you appreciate, and that you more people will listen to us. George made it quite correct. And we look forward to your support. Our support is growing. We're happy to say, slowly but surely, but it is growing because of you, because of people like you. Yes,
please, if you're watching, you don't like something, you do like something, put it in the comment section.
Yes,
we know what you like, and we know what you don't like, and we can try and improve to meet your expectations of what we should be providing. If you want something from the channel, say what you'd like to see. If there's something you don't like, tell me. Yes. I don't mind.
Somebody was abusing the other day.
Join in. Be part of it.
Yes.
Don't just sit back, watch it, and move off. It'll take you 2 minutes to say, this was shit.
Right.
This was quite interesting about such and such a thing. At least then we know what you want, what you're enjoying and what you're not enjoying, if you're enjoying anything at all. So like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. I'll see you post-game. Bye.